2022 actually, this is the 30th anniversary for E.Sun Bank. So we think that is the end of first 3 decades, and this is the beginning of our fourth decade. So in our fourth decade, our strategy is quite obvious, booming in Asia. So we will deployment more branches and more subsidiary, especially in Asia and in all the world. I think the reason is Taiwan is quite developed country, so the interest rate is low, and the GDP growth rate even is not bad. But compared to Southeast Asia, I think they are as high as 5 or 6 or even 7%. So yes, this is the first reason we will pursue some opportunity overseas. And the second part is because Taiwanese businessmen, especially several industry, they already deploy in Asia or even in the world. So we need to set up our financial network to serve them. So I think that is the second reason. And the third reason for E.Sun, because we think, yes, financial industry in Taiwan is quite mature compared to Southeast Asia or some developing country. So yes, we can provide better service, and we can provide new innovative products to the local customers. So that is the reason why E.Sun currently we will think the fourth decade is E.Sun in Asia. And I think in the long run, maybe E.Sun in the world. And yes, currently the profitability represent 22% of our profit. I think in the fourth decade, we think at least 30% should be necessary. That means in the fourth decade, 10 years from now on, 30% is necessary. And we think 1/3 is even better. So yes, we are quite proactive to set up bank hub repo office because we want to seek some opportunity to develop in Thailand. And Vietnam actually is welcome Taiwanese investment. We already have our Thong Nai branch, and currently we have Havana repo office in North Vietnam, and Ho Chi Minh repo office in South Vietnam. And yes, we prepare to set up some branch in Vietnam. And Japan, currently we already have a Tokyo branch, and Fukuoka actually is south part of Japan. And since currently TSMC would like to set up a factory, and there will be a huge supply chain located at that area. So we think the Fukuoka branch will serve local customers as well as Taiwanese industry. And for the US, currently we have our LA branch, and we think maybe in North America, even in US or in California, they still represent quite good opportunity. So we think in the fourth decade, yes, we will put our focus in overseas expansion. And in local market, we think technology usage is the most important thing, because currently the AI and the digital transformation, we will lower down our cost, and then we will provide automatic service to most of our customers, especially individual customers. And the strategy of E.Sun, the third part actually is ESG, because we know that currently our government already announced Taiwan 2015 will complete net zero emission. So currently every industry, they already have their tax, I think, because it's the policy of the government. And for some supply chain of Apple or Microsoft, or for example, or the other big name in the world, they already put their target in 2030. So currently, I think most of the supply chain in Taiwan already feel it is not only to fulfill your responsibility. It's something about survival. If you do not do ESG very well, maybe it's life or death problem. It's something about your survival. So I think currently, especially for the huge company, they already realize this is the things necessary. So I think currently ESG almost in Taiwan or in every country we run our business currently is very critical issue for everyone. So I think these three parts, the deployment or expansion in Asia or in the world is our first part, and second part is technology and digital transformation, and third part is something about ESG. I think since 2018, China and US actually compete in almost every aspect. We know that they are a trade conflict, and currently maybe they have some technology conflict. And I think this situation, especially the geopolitical situation, will maintain maybe this decade, because number one and number two, they will compete in almost every aspect. It's quite normal, especially one represent democracy and the other represent not democracy. So actually, there are some ideology compete in this field. So maybe they will separate two supply chain because they do not support each other and compete with each other. I think Taiwan is quite special situation because it's kind of about 40% of our export to Hong Kong and mainland China, and the other part it goes to US or Europe. So it's kind of about 50-50. And in a democracy, maybe we are near the democratic countries, but in the location, we are so near to mainland China. So we think we should maintain a good relationship with both sides, including mainland China or US. But in the real situation, sometimes it's quite difficult because both sides will ask you to choose your choice. So I think that is quite critical situation in Taiwan. Regarding to supply chain, currently we just find most of our companies, clients, they choose China Plus One policy. That means they still would like to maintain China operation because they already investment maybe 20 or 30 years. They are very good foundation in mainland China, and they have very high efficiency because we know that in the past 20 years, mainland China made a great progress in working quality. So yes, all the supply chain is complete, and the labor quality is really high. So they can provide very good qualified products. So China used to be the manufacturing factor of the world. I think let's say it's almost everything. But since currently there's some conflict between the US, or maybe we can say democratic countries with China. So yes, they choose the policy of China Plus One. When they would like have a new investment, maybe they do not investment in mainland China because there will be some concentrated risk. If something happens, they put all their eggs in the same packet in mainland China. So currently we see they just come back in Taiwan, or they just go to Southeast Asia, most go to Vietnam, and some go to China, and even go to Cambodia. And I think some technology company, they just go to Japan or US, for example, TSMC, and their supply chain, they just go to Japan and US. So I think in this situation, actually, the banking industry still can provide the fund for their investment. So it seems in the short run, they do not affect the operation of the banking industry. And currently, it seems both sides do not ask the banking industry to choose one side. But we know that currently the Wall Street banks, they're already in Congress to explain their policy. If someday something happens, which side do you stand by? And yes, the Wall Street bankers say they stand by US because it's their mother country. They have to stand by. But currently, for example, E.Sun, we have our subsidiary in mainland China, and the operation is still quite normal. We does feel any pressure from our government or from mainland China government. It seems currently the banking industry still can operate in both sides normally, but we don't know what will happen in the long run. For example, in this month, China Communist Party will take place 20th National Congress to choose the new leader. I think maybe if after this part, they still can maintain normal situation and normal relationship, I think maybe in the next 5 or 10 years, the banking industry still can operate quite normally in both sides, because we know that the financial market is quite stable power for the world. If anyone choose the financial industry to separate into two parts, I think the side effect will quite huge for all the world economy. I think if someday, that happen, I think all the world will pay the price because of separate a financial industry. Yes, we have three strategies, just as I mentioned. And then the foundation is risk management. We know that each part means huge opportunity, and it means high risk. For example, overseas expansion. Yes, we know that there are several examples. There are so many very good banks in the world. When something happens, really bad thing happen, they happen overseas. So we know that it's very important. And technology, that bring opportunities at the same time, that bring some risk. And ESG is the same. We will meet the physical risk, because if the climate change is a tiger, then water is its teeth. So yes, it's lack of water or too much of water, flood, drought, just like that. So, and they even have some transformation risk, because there are some high carbon emission industry that would like to transform themselves. They will put investment to make the emission lower. So I know that they are full of risk. So yes, the overseas operation, we are focused on risk management. So yes, our first step is something about the Taiwanese businessmen, because we understand them. We already have very good relationship with them. And the second part is local customers, or some, for example, in Singapore, we will participate some syndication loan come from Indonesia, come from Vietnam, but it is syndication loan. So yes, we are very focused on risk management. And currently, we prepare to hand in our IRB application to the regulator. Internal based credit scoring. I think according to Basel III, it's very important for E.Sun because it's the upgrade for the risk management, especially for credit risk. And currently, so far so good. For example, mainland China, we know that for threats currently real estate or the lockdown, but our subsidiary in mainland China currently currently the non-performing loan ratio is 0. I think they did a good job because we are quite cautious about the risk. And yes, currently so far so good, but we know that we still have to put our focus on risk management if we want to run a long way. Yeah.
And Joseph, that's very impressive for having 0% NPL in China,
Yeah.
meaning to say you haven't participated in any of those real estate lending, which is having a very, very difficult time in China.
Because when the real estate have their good time, we know that it seems we are not so sure because when the situation change, because their loan to value ratio or their loan to net worth ratio is really high, especially the top 20, they are really high. Because in Taiwan, we already have experience. There should be some cycle for real estate. For example, in the past experience in Taiwan is 7 to 10 years. There should be some cycle. And currently we think that Taiwan will experience some cycle because the Central Bank of Taiwan, they already have 4 times real estate policy, and then they raise the interest rate. So currently we already see real estate amount contract a lot. And currently even the price of real estate still maintain high. But since the amount, the trading amount contract a lot, so they will have some impact about the real estate industry. And in mainland China, yes, it's quite easy for E.Sun to do business with real estate industry because they need a lot of funds. And yes, they can provide some real business for you, or they can put a lot of deposit for you. In mainland China, yes, we lack of deposit. We eager to receive deposit. But finally, we just feel something wrong. Because in our experience, the price of the real estate, maybe, for example, in Shenzhen, it's kind of about 3 to 5 times, it's double. And the other 3 to 5 years, they double again. And we just think that, what is their GDP growth rate? What is the income of the area? How much they should pay? How long, how many years they should pay back their mortgage? Yes, because at first, their grandfather, grandmother, their parents was support the young adults because they are only one young adult in their generation. So they put all their worth put in to help their child or grandchild to buy a house. But we don't think they will sustain in the long run just like this way. So yes, we just prevent some risk in real estate in mainland China. But yes, maybe in the long run, we still have to wait to see what happens in mainland China. Even currently, it seems it's quite sluggish economy growth and some development outlook. But yes, they still the number 2 economy country in the world. So they still have their foundation. So I think they will recover in some day. Yeah.